So today we will learn 9.3 session, okay, box and whisker diagram. So what is this? Actually, this is a graph to present the data you have learned in 9.2, okay? So let's start with the look at the learning target. So today we have two learning targets. One is know how to draw the box and whisker diagram. Second is, after you draw the box and whisker diagram, do you know how to read the data from the diagram? Okay, so let's start. So introduce to you what is box and whisker diagram. So you can see that box and whisker diagram actually will including a lot of the information showing in the 9.2. Okay, it's lower quarter, upper quarter, medium, maximum, and minimum. Okay, so all of this you have learned in 9.2. For example, you know how to find the range and interquarter range, okay, by using this things, right? Now we combine them in one graph. Okay, this one we call it box and whisker diagram. So you will have your maximum point, okay, minimum point, and also you will have your lower quarter, Q1, your median, Q2, and also your upper quarter, Q3. And then all those three will combine with a box, okay? So you can see that here we will have a rectangular box. So this one we call it box. And this two straight line we call it whisker, okay? So we'll have the box and whisker diagram. Got it? So now look at this. How can we find the range and the interquarter range? Because this is the maximum, this is the minimum. Do you still remember how can you find the range? Using the maximum minus the minimum, you can find it. Also, you can also find the interquarter range because we have the Q3 and then we have the Q1. So interquarter range just using Q3 minus Q1. So box and whisker diagram can help you to find all those two data, okay? Then one of the things is very important in box and whisker diagram is that every part of them carry 25% of the data. So you can see that even though this part is quite larger than the right hand side one, okay, this part, but actually the numbers of the data between them is the same. For example, I can help you to draw it. If here we have 5 people standing here, okay, so those 5 people were standing like that. Okay, they will stand more dispersion, okay, but here you can see that the space are more less, so that means those 5 people, they were standing very close to each other, okay, the data will be more concentrated, or we call it less dispersion, okay. So see, numbers of the data is the same, both of them got 5 people, okay, but the space is different. Got it? Now let's try to draw the box and whisker diagram. Okay, now I'm using the true data from the Chinese University of the Hong Kong. It is the 2019 JUPAS programs data. Okay, so you can see that we also have the upper quarter, medium, and lower quarter. Okay, it's the mark that request if you want to enter to this program. So let's use one very famous program, okay, as the example. So it's the medicine program. Okay, so you can take a look of this. The upper, lower, and medium is 36, 37, and 38. So how can we draw it? So just, okay, mark it down, 38, 37, 36. Then we combine them together, become a box. Okay, now we need to draw the whisker. Whisker is the maximum and minimum. So here we don't have the data, right? Miss Poon just assume, remember, assume only, okay? So the maximum maybe is 41. Then minimum maybe is 35. So what can we do is draw a line until touch the 41, then draw a line until you touch the 35. So this is the complete the box and whisker diagram. Okay, so you can see that here we have a super long whisker, but actually the numbers of the student when you compare with the first one is the same. For example, if 10 students, okay, here, that means 10 students here also. Got it? Now try to use another program to draw it. So now let's look at the public health. So you can see that the program, we need different data, 21, 24, and 25. Again, draw it, okay, 21, 24, 25. Okay, so we have draw the box. Now we need to draw the whisker. Assume again, okay, assume that the maximum is 28, then the minimum is 19. So I will draw 28, then another one is 19. Okay, so when compare these two box and whisker diagram, you can see that medicine one is more concentrated. Can you see that all the data almost fit in same region, okay? So this one, we can say that it will be less dispersed, okay? Less dispersed. And here you can see that the data will have more space, right? So this one, we can call it that will be more dispersed. Got it? So now let's use one more example, okay? So can you see that we got the biomedical science? Biomedical science is here. You can see that all of them, all three data, Q1, Q2, and Q3 are all 33. So how can we draw it? A lot of students will interesting about it. So take a look of this. Q1, Q2, Q3, all of them are at the same place, right? So this is already your box. Then we need the whisker, okay? Assume that it will be 35, maximum, minimum is 32. So you will have the whisker at these two sides. So this is also a box and whisker diagram, okay? So just remember that you put down all those 5 information, okay, in the box and whisker diagram. That's it, okay? So now take a look of the example. If you know how to draw it, another skill you need to learn is how to read the data from the graph, okay? So maybe, for example, here classwork, they're asking you to find out all the maximum, minimum, Q1, Q2, and Q3. Just look at the graph, okay? Mark down all those information, and then every one of them, you just match the data, okay? So you can see that minimum will be just 1, maximum is 13, Q1 is 2, Q2 is 5, Q3 is 9. Yes, super easy, right? So you just look at the scale here, okay, and then find out every one of the Q1, Q3, Q2, maximum, minimum. Then you got all the answer. Is it clear? Okay, so that will be your answer, okay? So we already know how to find it. So now repeat one more time. What have you learned? Okay, so we have learned how to draw the box and whisker diagram.